Let me,
Absolutely.
before you go on to the next one,
Yeah,
let me ask you to go into system setup
sure.
for a moment.
Yeah.
So when you're in system setup here, I see all sorts of new stuff that I haven't seen. Last time I went into system setup as my user avatar, all I saw was down to where it said audit
Yeah.
usage. So now there's all sorts of stuff here. Can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. So this is an area, thanks for pointing that out, Mike. Right now there's four areas in here. A lot of users were just used to seeing this initial account settings, right? When you came into the app, you got prompted to go ahead and just set up this information. That was kind of set it and forget it, right? Where you came in here, you added your auditors, which are the users inside of your organization. You can enable multi-factor authentication. Now, all new users inside of our system, you have to set that up, right? Just from a security perspective, obviously being 2023, everyone
Yeah.
is cybersecurity focused, right? Company name, your company logo, which you have to upload in order to print the reports, and then for any of our subscribers who are doing business outside of the United States, you could change the currency on the report as well. All right. The subscription information, right? So this is an addition. We put that in there to have your plan name. All right. Your auditors, which once again are those internal users. audITs, right? These are your clients or prospects. All right. Now, with that though, one thing I always point out when I'm talking to a lot of our customers is you can run unlimited amount of audit reports on that. All right. And then it will show your monthly price that you get billed. And if you ever have any questions on this, you could always chat into us inside of the help area, or you could contact our accounts and or sales team about upgrading any of these areas as well too. All right. Now we just went over the business review schedule area, but there's another one in here called system customization. So we recently launched this, and this is the first phase of coming in here and being able to change things not only in the application but on the report, right?
Right. And that's a big
So
deal because we've never,
100%.
a lot of our customers want to change things like, oh, I don't like the name of this. And that
Yep.
we've been given a lot of feedback. And this is the
Yeah,
first time we're changing the report. Pretty big.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, as many of you know, I'm the product manager for audit, and this is where we're spending a lot of time on enhancing our customization even further, right? By not only changing things in the app, but also on the report, being able to give you more customization on some additional pages is what we're working on right now, right? Able to include other pages in the report, right? Where an example of that would be, hey, you want to have an about us page that talks about your MSP, but you don't want it to look different because of different fonts within there. That's what we're going to be giving you the ability to do. And that's what we have released here, kind of the first phase of enhancing the customization in the app and on the report. So with all that, right? We launched last year, probably the early part. It might have even been a year and a half ago, Mike. I can't remember. The ability to enter in the one-off cost area, right? So on the audit report, we've always had your audit score, your monthly IT expense, which is that range, right? If you're meeting with a prospect that they're currently spending, or when you're showing your proposed audit or business review, you kind of enter in the exact amount that they have, right? Effective monthly IT expense is calculated for you by taking what that monthly IT expense is, and it's dividing it by the audit score as a percentage, right? To really drive home, do some sales psychology with price anchoring, as well as, kind of showing them if they're being efficient or effective with their IT expenses, right? And then an optional field of the telecom monthly expense, which is enabled if you have the telecommunications category enabled in your audit report. But the one-off cost really circled everything around because a lot of our users no longer show a proposal when they're showing the audit report, right? So the one thing that we were missing and why we put this in there was the ability to show that one-off cost. So if you have your proposed audit and you show that monthly IT expense, right, of exactly what it's going to be to move forward, we didn't have a way on the report to show this. So now, right, you have the ability to do that. So if you're charging any kind of upfront hardware costs, a project fee, implementation fee, that is now on the report. So how do I use this inside of the application, right? Is if I come in here, right, and I just go ahead and I call this my project fee, right, and changing it from there, right? And I go ahead and click on save, right? This is where now this has saved inside of the application, right? So if I come over here and I refresh my screen and I come back into Jim's Pub, you can now see this field of project fee has changed in the app. All right. Now, if I come back in, I'm going to go into Michael Scott Paper Company, right? Actually, bad example. Let me come back here. I'm going to go into Lavender's Mancha, right? And if I click on one of these audit reports, right, and I go to print this out, right, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick comparison here while I generate that. We can now see if I come down to the last page of the report, right? This now changes on the report to include my project fee. All right. So this is where we want to give you even more autonomy, more customization to kind of change these fields. So that's really the intent of this system customization. Now, another thing you may have noticed is if we look at the audit report, Mike, if I come back up to the top, we've long been asked that, hey, I don't want to go ahead and say this requires immediate attention, needs improvement. I don't want to call it my audit score. I want to call it my, security score, right? Maybe if you're just doing an audit on that. So these are other areas within the application that you have the ability currently to change as well too. So
Interesting.
that's the whole point of doing the system customization. It's the first phase with what we have currently in those system settings, right? But we have a lot of work going on right now, and you're going to see a lot more additions into that area where you can customize both the report and the app.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.